Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is Naaman with the DC Camp, Great Millstone, back for another video. Once again, we're still on the Professor Black Truth site, and someone has to ask, where's all this money coming from all of a sudden? I mean, if I'm not mistaken, unless she gets a certain amount of delegates, she's not privy to the money that would otherwise have been Joe Biden's. Alright? So again, we know that supposedly it was reported that a huge number of so-called black women on a Zoom call raised such and such amount. But that don't, no, it's more to it than that. But before we get into that, first and foremost, I'm going to call hello Yahweh, Shimi Awashah, Shim Kahakadash. And once again, double honors go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders. Great Millstone, who rule well. I want to send salutations out to the fellow Akim that are out on the highways and byways, pushing the truth across the four corners of this earth, while we are yet trying to wake up the remaining hopeful elect. Alright. So again, the question must be asked, where the hell is all this money coming from? So let's get into it.
Family and fellow soldiers, I'm the Professor, and this is the moment of truth. You know, some folks just don't get it. When it comes to the current election that's going on, part of the reason why we keep giving Kamala Harris so much of the business is because we got the white media trying to carpet bomb us with propaganda that black people want this career prosecutor who spent all of her adult life sucking up to low-down Willie Brown, being a good little shill and operative for the California political machine, and using her position to persecute
And that's meant quite literally as well.
black people, locking black people up, and then denying it all afterwards and lying her butt off. And we're being told that this woman who laughed in our faces and told us she's not going to do anything for black people, this is someone who black people need to be having in the White House. We need to help her get in the White House. Do anything it takes. Protect this sister. That's the reason why we're lighting her up like this.
Which she is
Because
not.
part of what the white media likes to do is they like to make it where if you say one thing about the truth of this person, well, they'll go ahead and try to drown you under 10 or so stories of lies. Well, we're going to keep on speaking the truth regardless. You follow the money, and you'll learn everything you need to know about Kamala Harris and those who are supporting her. Right now, as the left white corner of the white media tries to get the Kamala hype train up to full steam, they're calling out all the bootleg shills and operatives, the same clowns who have been in hiding for the last 3.5 years since Biden won office, are now finally sticking their heads up out of the sand, some of them, and trying to sell the soap for massa. Now, the main ones who they hope are going to toe the line for Kamala are black women. That's part of the reason why they like having her out front. They make sure she's got a few of her black sorority chums around her. But Kamala doesn't really have the support of black women in the main, not outside of the bootleg sorority circle of hers, the same ones who utterly failed to make her a viable candidate 4 years ago. And just to give her some camouflage, we see a number of shills and boule-esque social climbers who are only too jolly to jump in front of the cameras and say, I'm supporting Kamala because I'm a black woman. But of course, these would-be supporters never explain who's supporting them. You see, it's all meant to give the false impression that Kamala becoming president would somehow benefit black people in general and black women in specific. Gee, did Obama becoming president benefit black men? I'm just asking for a friend. One organization that comes to mind is one that I told you about several years back. You got so-called Black Pack. And the front black woman who's supposed to be the leader of that organization, a woman named Adrian Shropshire. Now they're on the internet telling black people that we need to give money to their efforts to drum up votes for Kamala. Good idea. And whatever money you give them, it can be added to the 2.5 million.
Let's look that up real quick. Adrian. Let's see. I can't remember if it was an A. Shropshire. Alright, that's her. Where's the bio? That's what I want. Alright. Proud looking at it. Let's see. Alright. Tell me what I need to know. Hold on. Let's see. 2016. Wow. How? Hmm. How suspicious. That recent? But again, see? Look at this. Hmm. And that's what we're looking at right now. But who the fuck is she? That's what I want to know. Let's see. Family. As a prominent figure in the black progressive movement, Adrianne's personal life and family are not publicly disclosed in the available search results. It is essential to respect her privacy and not speculate about her family's circumstances. What? Well, they're certainly keeping this. Her path to creating Black Pack began in the early 90s. Southern California. Leftist activism. Yeah, okay. Let's go back to the video. I think I have an idea where this is going. And blah blah, there we go.
$1 billion that George Soros has given to Black Pack. Oh, you didn't know. And I'll bet you on their website they don't even mention George Soros, but he's part of the big white money behind them. And what does $2.5 million in dark money get you these days? Well, it gets you these so-called polls of black people that show black voters are concerned about everything except reparations. There's 5 tables shown on Black Pac's website purporting to tell you what Black Pac says black voters are most concerned about. Black voters are speaking. And where have we heard that before? I believe I covered the British media saying the same thing about black voters on last night's Sunday address. And the closest that you get to black voters speaking is whatever Black Pac says. Their very first survey table shows that the #1 issue for black voters, according to them, is protecting voting rights. They actually had the nerve to post that. Last time I checked, black voters did not have a problem getting to the polls at all. After all, black voters are the ones who made Obama president not once, but twice. And even after 4 years of the Orange Man, it was black voters who rallied and made sure that Joe Biden became president and handed the Democrats control of both the House of Representatives and the Senate. And this after 4 years of Donald Trump and all of his pals doing all of the quote-unquote voter suppression that they could. And yet black voters, merely being annoyed at the racial abuse at the hands of the Orange Man, got together and voted him out of office. That's also part of what was in last night's Sunday address. These career Democratic operatives had to admit black voters, the base of the Democratic Party, are the ones who handed Trump his defeat. So the problem is not that black voters aren't going to the polls, or that black voters are being blocked from going to the polls. The problem is the Democrats are not inspiring, or better yet, incentivizing black voters to go to the polls. That's the real problem. The second most important issue, according to Black Pac's little survey table, is reducing gun crime. So we see Black Pac pushing the white leftist line that black voters and crime are a synonymous political issue. Oh, you want to talk to black voters? Just make sure you mention something about crime, because that has everything to do with black people, don't you know? Oh, and second from the bottom of their list is a pathway to citizenship. So apparently that's part of the top 10 of black voter concerns, a pathway to citizenship. You know, unless you're a tether who still hasn't gotten your green card, or you're trying to bring your relatives over from wherever tethers anywhere in the U.S. who are campaigning for a pathway to citizenship. Why should we? We're already citizens. Where's these black people who are so worried about illegal aliens being given amnesty at? Because that's what they mean by pathway to citizenship. Where has any black person, hell, even the tethers, been on TV, print, or anywhere in the appreciable numbers calling for a pathway to citizenship? No mention of reparations. Nothing about any other sort of tangibles on this list, but they include.
Now, my last video I spoke about how our people are being manipulated like no one else. See, they like to keep Jake, in entertainment mode, all jolly and all kinds of folly and shit, and that's why the scriptures speak against that, because, let me get it, that is the absolute wrong state of mind to be in. All right, this is why Ecclesiastes 72 says it is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. All right, sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance the heart is made better. All right. Boy, this I believe my last video I asked what has changed. What has actually changed besides the times that we're in? But you still have the same people over us that have studied us to the extent that they know what makes us tick. Again, manipulation on a huge scale. And it's not just the Southern Kingdom, it's the Northern Kingdom too. The whole earth is in mourning. The deceiver has been given, up until this point, carte blanche. Remember, when you get into Psalm 17 chapter, this devil is the Most High's sword. That prayer that King David, alright? In fact, let's get it. So he has been allowed, we're in this time now, however, when you go into 2 Thessalonians 2nd chapter, actually before I get to Psalm 17, let's take a stop at 10 first. And this is Psalms 10 and 1. It says, why standest thou afar off, O Most High? This question. Why hidest thou thyself in times of trouble? Another question. The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they haven't imagined. And that's happening now. For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth. Who's the most covetous individual on this planet? The descendants of Jacob's brother Esau, the Edomites, so-called white people. For the wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after the Most High. The Most High is not in all his thoughts. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above, out of his sight. And that irks him. Oh, it does. You haven't learned anything in the last 4 years of how he's put his science above everything. Trust the science. Trust the science. Most High is not in his thoughts. Because he thinks he's on par with the Most High. 2 Thessalonians 2nd chapter. His ways are always grievous, thy judgments are far out above his sight. For all his enemies he puffeth at them. He hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. This proud devil. But Isaiah 47th chapter says, hold on there. I beg to differ. 7. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. 8. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages, in the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. And that's us, the real Israelites. 9. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. There's all kinds of snares and traps set up in here. You check and see where the majority of these gotcha traffic cameras, you know what I'm talking about, are set up, and what neighborhoods they're set up. 10. He croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. But again, you're never supposed to trust your enemy, right? That's Sirach 12th chapter, starting at verse 10 on down. Never trust thine enemy. Again, Jake is always in that he ha ha spirit. He hath said in his heart, the Most High hath forgotten. He hideth his face. He will never see it. See, Jake is under a spell. Arise, O Most High. O Most High, lift up thine hand. Forget not the humble. Wherefore doth the wicked contemn the Most High? He hath said in his heart, thou wilt not require it. Proud devil. Proud. Not to Zion. Alright. Spurn. Anybody see that blasphemous? I mentioned this in my last video. Everybody's been talking about it lately. That act, that routine act, whatever it was that they put on for the Olympics there, where you had these those of the rainbow community put on this blasphemy of the that was supposed to depict the Last Supper, but with transgenders. Yeah, it was despicable. It really was. Blaspheme, now that I say that. Alright, rejects, spurn. But this is what he does. Those that worship the Most High. This is what he's doing. Wherefore doth the wicked contemn or spurn or despise the Most High? And they do. He has said in his heart, thou wilt not require it. Thou hast seen it, for thou beholdest mischief and spite, to require it with thy hand. The poor committeth himself unto thee. Thou art the helper of the fathers. But like everybody's been saying, he didn't get or read the fine print. There's more to the prophecy when it comes to him ruling. Alright. That other part is him being taken down. There's another part to manifest destiny that he didn't read about. Alright, continuing on.
Includes some gibberish about a pathway to citizenship. This is what Black Pack is putting out there, and these are the folks who are getting millions and millions of dollars, much of it in dark money, in order to try to motivate folks to go to the polls, and this is what they believe are the most important issues for black voters. As they're putting the millions gotten to work for these issues and claim this is what black people are really concerned about. And then there's gun reform. They claim black voters are hot and bothered about that one too. And of course, they also got to say that black voters are also very concerned about abortion rights. That train is never late. This is one of the prime pillars of the Democrats' current political platform now, to get those female voters, especially in the suburbs. So according to Black PAC, black voters strongly oppose the overturning of Roe v. Wade by 69%. Interestingly, they also have a little bit of data off to the side that talks about how these numbers break down based on church attendance.
Yeah, because strongly oppose overturning Roe. Hey, just gotta face it. The black woman is gone. All right, for those of you that think you can save her, you talking about effort and futility. She is gone. All right, she don't give a fuck about you, or I should say us. This is the majority. Don't fool yourself. She's all about this world. All right. The so-called white man is her God. Lest you believe. But back to the Psalms. I didn't finish. Let me go to 17 to prove to you that this devil is the whipping stick of the Most High. All right. A prayer of David again. All right. Let's go straight to the point. He says, "Arise, O Lord. Disappoint him." Who are we talking about? The him. All right. We're talking about the wicked. Cast him down. Deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. All right. Which is thy sword. All right. And that's karab, right? Sword. All right. Sword. Axis. This is what he is. All right. He's merely an instrument. See, he knows his time is short. That's why you're seeing things speed up. We told you about these things. There's all kinds of scriptures on them. All right, but a lot of you watch these videos for entertainment purposes. All right, and not taking it serious. That's all right. That's all right. You know. That's all right.
The church has made itself politically irrelevant today, and become more so as the black baby boomers die out. But among those who regularly attend church, Black PAC's survey claims that the total opposition to overturning Roe was 73% among black respondents who are regular churchgoers. That says a lot about what these pork chop preachers are preaching on Sunday mornings now, don't it?
Yep.
See, for decades in the black church, when it comes to sexual morality, the preachers give that classic parable about the adulterous woman who was caught in the very act.
And misuse
the
it.
Pharisees bring her to Jesus and demand that he say what should be done about her. As we all know, this was a trap the Pharisees were laying, and Jesus got out of it by not playing the game. Rather than answer them, he instead began to write something in the dirt, and he kept writing until all the Pharisees went away, and he told the adulterous woman to go and sin no more. Sadly, in this...
Yeah, but the thing, what did he write in the dirt? That's the thing. All right, he was showing them their transgressions. It wasn't a means for them to, for her to continue to sin or anybody else. All right. Let's see. Hold on here. Where we got to? Bear with me a moment. And that's why they take that. That's why people get caught up, because of these churches. And these churches were set up, or they are allowed, keep that money, and you continue to have our people go off. That's all. That's the purpose that they serve. All right. Wait for it to catch up with me again. Hold on. Wait a minute. What the? Oh, no wonder. I apologize. This thing is jumping all over the place. So here we are. Let's start at the top. I'm thinking I'm headed straight to it, and it's going back. It's going in reverse. All right, here we go. It says, Yahushua went into the Mount of Olives, and early in the morning he came again into the temple, and all the people came unto him, and he sat down and taught them. And the scribes and Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery. And when they had set her in the midst, they said unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act. Like I said, they were setting a trap for him. All right. Now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned, but what sayest thou? This they said, tempting him, that they might have to accuse him. But Yahushua stooped down and with his finger wrote on the ground as though he heard them not. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, He that is within sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. And again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. And they which heard it, being convicted by their own conscience, why? Went out one by one, beginning at the eldest even unto the last, and Yahushua was left alone, and a woman standing in the midst. When Yahushua had lifted up himself and saw none but the woman, he said unto her, Woman, where are those thine accusers? Hath no man condemned thee? She said, No man, Lord. And Yahushua said unto her, Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more. Then spake Yahushua again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall live the light of life. All right. So there you go. Why did they all peel off? Because he was showing them what they themselves were guilty of. So how could they accuse her? Hypocrites. All right. Somebody have to stone them.
This day and age, that story has been weaponized by these pulpit pimps.
Yep.
In this day and age, that story is not used as a divine command not to commit adultery. Instead, with these pork chop preachers, it's become a license to commit adultery. And if anyone tells you that you're wrong, you just say, Only God can judge me. Let he who is without sin cast the first stone.
There you go. That's what they do.
How that story's been misused.
That's exactly what they do. And that's why it's not taught the fear of the Most High in these churches. Haven't figured it out yet? Or you want to talk about adultery in the so-called black community? You got to start at the church. Man, it's pathetic.
This is how the black church threw away its moral legitimacy and became a whorehouse. So Black Pact survey is claiming black people are very passionate about keeping abortion legal, especially the black folks who go to church. Now, whose interest does a survey like this support? Not black people.
Get rid of the evidence. That's all it's about.
And their final survey is about white supremacy. And you notice how they put that at the very end. This is at the very bottom. That's what Black Pact thinks about white supremacy. Oh, we don't want to offend anybody, especially not any of those big white donors like George Soros. So we're going to go ahead and put white supremacy at the bottom. That way, if any black folks come along, especially black people from the black media, we can always point and say, see, we're CYA-ing on this one. We're covering our butts. We talked about white supremacy, see, at the very bottom. Well, in that particular survey, according to Black Pact, 65% of their respondents were very worried about white supremacy. Interesting. So the number of black people who are very opposed to overturning Roe v. Wade was 69%. The number of black people who are very worried about white supremacy is 4% less than that. Really? Black people are more concerned about unwanted pregnancies than they are about white supremacy. Now, this survey is dated only 2 years after the uprisings of 2020. And what were those about? Abortion, perhaps? Red state bans on abortion? Is that what the uprisings of 2020 were about? Or was it the greatest social upheaval since the 1960s based on opposing white supremacy? In fact, these Black Pact surveys claim that black voters are more concerned about everything other than our tangibles or white supremacy. Name the issue: gun reform, voting rights, abortion, whatever. Black voters are more concerned about those things than they are about white supremacy, and they don't say anything about reparations at all. And this is what Black Pact is putting out there. And they have no problem getting white media attention to be able to spread whatever line they want to say. Just who the hell paid for these surveys? Oh, wait. According to Black Pact, black voters feel more worried about abortion going away than they are about losing their lives to white supremacy. This is what these organizations' job is: to be black faces using their melanin to certify a white political line. They are sock puppets.
Yep.
And these are the black people. In many cases, they're going to make sure they put the black women's faces out there.
Mm-hmm.
The white media is going to put in front of their cameras and tell you and me that this is what constitutes grassroots support. Oh, look at these black women who are with these sororities and who claim to be businesswomen and political movers and shakers.
Those Greeks
and
again.
George Soros, among many others, funnels money to. Except they're not going to make a big deal about that. You're not going to see that on the homepage of Black Pact's website. You're not going to be seeing them posting too many Twitter tweets about that. This isn't grassroots. It's astroturf. Their job is not to tell you what black voters are actually saying. Their job is to lie about what black voters' demands are, to claim that it's whatever is conducive to white power's interests. Nothing Black Pact is doing is going to rock the boat because
And there you go. Let's rewind that. Hold on.
what black voters are actually saying. Their job is to lie about what black voters' demands are, to claim that it's whatever is conducive to white power's interests.
There you go.
Nothing Black Pact is doing is going to rock the boat because it's not supposed to. With all the dirt Kamala's done over the years, how can any black people be so eager to make a career prosecutor president after she laughed and bust a gut cackling like a witch at the prospect of putting black mothers in jail because their kids skipped school?
Yeah, how
And
about
they
that?
want us to take pride in that. They got the nerve to sit there and say, this is what black people want. This is black people being heard. Go ahead and put this career prosecutor in there who's been going after black people her entire adult life. That's what black people want. That's what they demand. It sounds crazy just saying it, but this is what Black Pact is doing. This is what they're advocating for. This is what they're demanding that you support. Whatever happened to holding these out-of-control prosecutors accountable for their records? Whatever happened to making sure that all of these thugs with law degrees saw their political futures cut short for actions like these? For the idiots who keep saying, what about Project 2025? It's already here, stupid. There's really nothing you can name about what Donald Trump or any of these white conservatives are planning that hasn't been, at least for black people, going on for decades now. This is the same garbage that we heard back in 2016 and again in 2020. Please tell me what the hell it is that you're so terrified the orange man is going to do that Biden hasn't already been allowing up until now. All of you Negroes like She the People and Black Pact and these anonymous trolls and shills who 4 years ago were telling us Kamala Harris would do all these Harris's mother is Asian, and then watches those Asian votes get galvanized, organized, and vote her right into office, right? But then again, that has never happened in American history. There's not enough Asian votes to do it. There's enough black votes to do it, though, but they're ignoring us. The goal here is to demoralize black people into no longer making demands. That's the long game here. And sadly, too many times, black people have proven to have a horrible habit of giving up before we've even begun to fight. Everyone knows this about us. So we've conditioned them to think that they can just wait us out. Stall for a few more months and black people will get bored, get restless, look for an excuse to quit the fight, because too many times that's exactly what we've done. And for the half-wits out there who are saying, you just want Trump to win, listen up, stupid. The only person I want to win is whoever is going to be putting black empowerment on their policy agenda. Neither of the candidates is doing that. So what all of you shills and bootlicks and operatives and you undercover trolls have been reduced to is saying, well, okay, Kamala and them ain't gonna do nothing for black people, but look at all the stuff Trump's gonna be doing against black people. That's the line you've been reduced to now. You've gone ahead and coughed up the confession. Yeah, we've been reminding you for 4 years, hey, look how they ain't doing nothing for us. Kamala ain't doing nothing for us. Biden ain't doing nothing for us, so you can't deny it, because we made sure to remind people constantly of their track record of uselessness. And now at the end, you've gone ahead and said, but it'll be worse under Trump. So you've got to choose the lesser of two evils. The only problem with that is, when you choose the lesser of two evils, you're still supporting evil. And as Kwame Ture said, decent people do not choose the lesser of two evils, they choose a good choice. Now, there were a lot of black people who wanted to feel better about the fact that they weren't demanding anything of Biden 4 years ago. No, they wanted to feel better about the fact that Biden threw it in their faces. I'm not doing anything for you. The only thing I have to do is to not be Trump. As long as I'm not Donald Trump, that's all I have to do. And you have black people trying to talk themselves into feeling better about acquiescing to that. Well, it's 4 years later now. And those of you who failed the IQ test then, there's no sense in asking if you smartened up by now. We already know the answer. Well, that might be good enough for you. But for the black voters over here, you know, the ones with an IQ higher than their shoe size is not good enough for us. We are a constituency. And the same treadmill we've been on always gets powered with the same lie, which is wait until next time. But next time never comes. And that being the case, we're instituting a new norm. You want our vote? You're going to have to show us what we're going to get first. And if you don't, well, then you can go ahead and take some of that money that George Soros has given you, and you can go ahead and hand it over to us. Money can pay for campaign workers. Money can pay for ads on TV, but the one thing it can't do is to actually vote. Money can't do that. Only people can. So the new normal is that black people are the base of the party and will be treated as such. And that means when it comes time to talk about tangibles, when it comes time to talk about policy, you talk about black people. And if that's too much for candidate Kamala and her boule butt-kissing buddies to do, well, then I recommend you start making your peace with whatever sawed-off right-winger comes to occupy the White House next. Good day, and be one.
And there you have it. What we've always told you. All right. Some of Jake will get it. The majority are just there. All right. And have got to go. Hence the 2/3. That's why we hate the motherfuckers. They're gone. All right. A little else I can say. When we bring out scriptures like Micah 2:10, it's a guarantee. All right. In fact, let me get it. All right, that this place is rotten to the core, and as such, there's nothing good in it. But it says, Micah 2:10, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, and it is not, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you even with a sore destruction. And that's the one thing that they will do with Jake, because Jake doesn't understand. This is when we will be. All right. I mean, we can go into Hebrews 11th chapter, but I want to get this. I believe, let's see, it's either 32 or 33. Hold on. Bear with me. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. This is yet to come. It says, and for those of you that think America is it, oh, hell no. This is Deuteronomy 33 and 28. It says, Israel then shall dwell in safety alone. And that doesn't even apply to these Israelis, these thieves that have stolen the land. They're not in safety alone. That's a clear clue as to who they're not. Alright? It says, Israel then shall dwell in safety alone. The fountain of Jacob shall be upon a land of corn and wine. They have to import shit. Alright? Also his heaven shall drop down dew. Happy art thou, O Israel, who is like unto thee. Happy art thou, O Israel. Alright, Salakim. Who is like unto thee, O people saved by the Most High, the shield of thy help, and who is the sword of thy excellency? And thine enemies shall be found liars unto thee, and thou shalt tread upon their high places. Alright? And if you know anything about that prophecy in Ezekiel, let me get it real quick. That's what they're doing to us right now. Once again, just keep waiting for this to catch up with me. There we go. Alright. So let's go to that. This goes into the thievery. How they got the Holy Land. This is also, thou son of man, prophesy unto the mountains of Israel, say ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Most High. Thus saith the Most High, Yahweh, because the enemy hath said against you, Aha! Even the ancient high places are ours in possession. Therefore prophesy and say, Thus saith the Most High, because they have made you desolate, and they have, and swallowed you up on every side. Alright, these are the ones that are behind. I just showed you George Soros. He's a pretender. Alright? But they got the money. That's how they rule. He who that golden rule. He who owns the gold rules. It's simple. That's what the patriarch of the Rothschilds said. Meyer Amschel Bauer. Or Rothschild. Alright? He says, give me control of a nation's money. I'm paraphrasing. And I care not who makes the laws. It's so simple. Alright? He says, because they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side, that ye might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen. And ye are taken up in the lips of talkers, and are an infamy of the people. Are we not? Are we not? That goes to the curses. A byword and a proverb. See, we try to tell you people these things, but you would not listen. Again, going to those harlot houses they call churches. Whore houses. Because there is so much adultery and everything else going on up in there. So that's it from now. That's it from now. That's, we have to get this copyright thing out of the way. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Alright. So there we go. Alright. So that's going to be on this video. Once again, it's been, where are Kamala supporters getting their money from? Now you know. For those that think that, this is all Jake putting together. And then, wow. Nah. This is bigger than that. More manipulation. Alright. Propaganda. Hey, so with that, once again, I hope whoever views this video is edified, of course. This is what we do here at Great Millstone. Filter all things through the scriptures. So you might know the time that you are in. All right, you have to know that the time is very short. Also, I'd like to remind you about the power of prayer and fasting. So with that, until the next video, shalom.